Hello and welcome everybody, this is Categorizes from GameInfusion.com, and today I'm here to bring you a first curse pretty much review on this gun. Now, I did just get this gun today. I have played a few games of Rumble to try to, get my senses of how the gun shoots, what I think exactly of the gun, everything else. Now, the gun is a pretty interesting gun. It pretty much shoots like the Hawk Moon and kind of plays like the Hawk Moon, but has like last word type specs into it. Now, when I say last word specs, I mean because the last word was a hip fire where it gives you more bonus to range and stability, and with this gun, you get bonus to one like stability and range whenever you are aiming down sight. So it's pretty much the exact opposite to the perks that was on the last word. Plus, it looks almost exactly like the last word. If you double tap Y, it does spin exactly like the last word, reloads like it. So it's almost a replica of the last word. So that is actually pretty interesting. As you did see, it does actually reload of the last word. Now, you do have to watch out because this gun is really hard to get used to whenever you are trying to shoot it at first. It does have a decent amount of kick, not as much as I thought it was going to have, but it still does have a decent amount of kick, so you do have to get used to that. Now, this gun in general, as I did find out whenever I was playing with this gun, is you have to kind of play it like the Hawk Moon. Now, whenever I say you have to play it like the Hawk Moon is, you can't play it like how you did with the last word. You can't pretty much run straight in and, I'm going to kill him, I'm going to kill him. You have to kind of sit back and take out the people one by one, type things. You can't go in and, take on so many people at once for the simple fact of the gun has a very low fire rate. But, like I said, it does have a very high fire rate, so that does compensate for it. But with the low fire rate, it just hurts it a lot. Now, like I said, this is a very good gun to use, though. I believe it's got triple tap. So that's also a really good thing to do. If you get 3 precision hits, then you also get 1 shot to the mag to turn in. So that's actually a really good thing in itself. Now, a big thing that probably is a lot of people are going to be asking is it a gun where, I could see myself using, over and over again like I would use during Trials of Osiris or, during Iron Banner or somewhere around those senses. Do I actually see myself using this gun? And the answer is probably yes and no, for the simple fact that hand cannons are not as good as they used to be. Now, back in the day, like from whenever year 1 was, I kind of sound weird when I said back in the day, but like back whenever it was year 1 weapons, and, like the weapon perks and everything else, where hand cannons wasn't as decreased as they was now. Would I use this? I would use this in a heartbeat. I'd probably use this maybe over the old last word. But now, I love the gun, I really do. I feel like it's more of a like control type base gun, Clash, somewhere around those lines. Playing Rumble where everything's so uptight, it's kind of hard to use this gun, but I kind of lived with it. Actually, during this match, actually really did suck because 3 of the enemies actually left. As you will see, like in the bar, I only had like 3 people at first, like throughout somewhat of the game, so that really did suck. But anyways, let's get back to the gun. So the gun, like I said, I would definitely use it back in the day, maybe over in the last word. That's saying a lot because the last word was my baby. But now in this, pulse rifles and scout rifles are just so overpowered that it's kind of hard not to go after it, like choose one of those. But I mean, this gun, it's got decent range, especially when you are aiming down the sight with that perk. But stability is decent. You do have to get used to it. You definitely have to get used to the stability, because if you're not, like as you'll see whenever I am shooting, whenever it was my perspective, like it looked like I was actually shooting the dude in the head. But I was a little off because I haven't fully got used to the stability yet. But with that being said, I have been used to the gun. As soon as I get that stability, fixed out and running, this gun's just gonna make this so much better, and I'm gonna love it even more. I think it's got 8 shots in the mag, so it's not too bad. I think that's exactly the same as the last word. If I could be wrong, I'm not exactly sure. I think it's exactly the same as the last word. So like I said, a lot of this guns have the same exact feature as the last word. I don't know why they did that, why they brought it almost the same as that feature. Not really sure about that. or exactly why they did it, but you know, who knows what Bungie with all that situation going on. And then another thing is you do not want to challenge a gun with a faster fire rate. So I think it's called the Luna, everyone calls it, which is the mini Hawk Moon. I was getting wrecked by that a lot because it's got a fast fire rate, which I believe a decent impact. So you do not want to take on stuff that has very fast fire rate, especially up close. At a decent fall range, I would probably take it on for the simple fact that you have the higher impact, and probably fire rates usually have less range. That's another shocking thing with this gun is, even though it's got a very slow fire rate, if you actually look at its base stats, it does not actually have very good range stats or stability. The only thing that makes it such low stability, well, it could be a lot worse, is the simple perk of whenever you are aiming down sight, you have better handling, better stability to the gun. But, like I said, it is a very, very good gun to use. I would pick it out of probably my #1 hand cannon. You know, with Hawk Moon being second. Well, actually, I can't fully go that far yet. I do have a lot more research into using this gun. But out of the first, you know, like the first night, you know, playing like 20 or so matches with this gun, I really, really did get a love for inside of this gun, and I know I'm not the only one. Others will love this gun, just like I fell in love with it. You know, it's just hard to go away from pulse rifles nowadays. Going away from pulse rifles is just a giant thing to do, but I mean, with this gun, you definitely can look forward to using a hand cannon finally, other than the Hawk Moon, because, you know, a lot of people fell out of love with the hand cannons for the simple fact of how much of a downgrade they did get. But this weapon does help a lot on choosing between, you know, a gun to actually use. Plus, it's kind of simple to get, but it just takes so long to get it. But anyways, my overall review of this gun is amazing. I love it. It's an absolute get if you are able to get it. It does take like 3 weeks to acquire it though, so make sure you do have some downtime to get it. But anyways, I hope you did enjoy this video, and this video did help. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.